Hello, here is our example analogy explaining the distinction between a cryptocurrency coin and a token. Imagine that you are looking for a different way to get around. For what I can tell, you can either buy your own van and be responsible for keeping it up to date, changing the oil, replacing the tires, and other maintenance tasks, or you can rent a van. Since the car is yours, it is up to you to keep it in good shape. You could also rent a car if you wanted to. In this situation, you can rent a car for a monthly fee and you are free to use it however you want. You just pay the owner the rental fee and everything else will be taken care of. You would have to decide which one was best for you and the smartest thing to do based on all different parts of your life. You might not have enough money to buy a new van outright, or you might be too busy to take care of it. Hello everyone, welcome to Success Wisdom. In this video, we're going to talk about cryptocurrency versus token 2022, crypto coins versus tokens. If you're new to this channel, do like and subscribe to the channel. A coin uses its own blockchain to keep track of all the information, which in our example would show who owns the car. But if you have a token, your infrastructure is someone else's cryptocurrency's blockchain. When you make a token, it's kind of like paying rent. You don't have to make the blockchain, write the whole code, or think about how it should be checked. Instead, you just make the token, which then uses the blockchain. The best case study for this video would be Ethereum. Ethereum has a built-in blockchain that keeps track of value and verifies transactions. Over the last few years, the Ethereum team has been putting in a lot of work to fix bugs, update the system, and make it better as a whole. Ethereum's blockchain is the basis and infrastructure for Ethereum tokens, which are called ERC20 tokens. The basic attention token is one type of ERC20 token that is made on the Ethereum network. The team decided that it wasn't big enough to build its own mainframe, but they did want to make a way for fans to give money to artists they like in an easy way. The team can focus on making the Brave browser, which is a great product, with the help of the fundamental attention token. The Brave team could focus on their own product because they had made a token that let them trust the Ethereum network for security and reliability. You should also know that a group of developers might decide to switch from tokens to coins if they think their project is growing quickly enough. Consider Crypto.com. They just launched their own mainnet, which is a fancy way of saying that they just put out their own currency and are now confirming their own transactions. They used to have a token, but it became so popular that they started their own blockchain and went their own way. This is important to remember because you can't just turn a token into a coin. Along with a currency that does the same thing, a bridge that lets people trade in their old tokens for the new ones could be made. For example, some currencies, like Leo, can be used as tokens on more than one network. Leo is part of the Ethereum, Binance Smart Chain, and Hive networks, for example. Another important fact is that some currencies are shown on other networks as tokens. For example, I just used the Binance Smart Chain network to buy something called Binance Peg Ethereum token. I bought a copy of Ethereum on the Binance Smart Chain network instead of the real cryptocurrency to see what its price would be. You might wonder why I did what I did. A typical transaction on Ethereum now costs about $20, but a transaction on the Binance Smart Chain only costs 50 cents, which makes exchanging an Ethereum representation much cheaper. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. At the same time, you could think of it like this. If you buy a gold stock, you become the owner of the stock, but the stock is just a symbol for the gold. You can always trade that stock for a piece of gold, so at least for trade, it is basically the same as gold. I really hope this isn't too hard to understand. Even though that is a simplified explanation, there are a few different types of tokens that we can use to group the purposes of each token together. Let me give you a few examples, and if you haven't already, you might get the idea. Transactional tokens at number 1. If we consider the currency XDAI, which is now tied to the US dollar and makes it simple for people to pay for things like coffee or purchase the blouse they like at a local business. Transactional tokens are used as a quick and easy means to move money. It functions just like currency. However, the price is now quite cheap. Transaction costs are, imagine making over 47,000 transactions and only paying $1 in fees for each one. Try doing that with PayPal or a bank transfer to get a sense of how cheap the charge is. Next up, we have number 2, which is security tokens. For instance, ownership of other assets is represented through the issuance of security tokens. For instance, if you wanted to buy gold but didn't want to keep that physical metal, someone could make a token that tracks the price of gold. This would allow you to own a representation of the metal rather than the physical metal itself, which is technically safer because it is much harder to hack an Ethereum token than it is to break into someone's home. The tough element in this situation is that there should be an actual asset there. For instance, even if you don't have any gold, I may issue a gold token and invite you to invest in it. Next at number 3, platform tokens. Platform tokens are created to support a decentralized application on the blockchain. For instance, Uniswap is a decentralized application that enables users to exchange one Ethereum token for another. Despite being decentralized, Uniswap also has its own token, the Uniswap token, which is distributed to investors in the platform with the promise that eventually token holders will be able to vote on changes and possibly even earn money. Number 4 is utility tokens. Utility tokens are tokens with a value associated with ownership. For instance, the Ethereum token known as the Basic Attention token may be used to advertise on the Brave browser. In other words, I could simply use my Basic Attention token to promote this YouTube channel on the Brave browser. In other words, utility tokens are functional. Utility tokens can be used in the real world, while security tokens can only be bought and held. Lastly, we have number 5, which is governance tokens. Holders of governance tokens are able to cast ballots for certain issues. A Uniswap, for instance, may be a governance token. Token holders might decide to vote to increase the cost of a Uniswap transaction from 0.3% to 0.6% in a future version of the Uniswap market. You really have greater voting power by holding more tokens since the choice with the most votes wins. There is, of course, a fairly strong justification for holding additional tokens. You might be able to control the platform better if you have more of it, but this raises the issue of power becoming too concentrated. The many categories of tokens have been covered. I hope you know now why we need them and how some of them function. Thank you for watching. I hope you have learned something from this video. If you like this video, do give us a like, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below. Thank you and goodbye.